Pepper sits on almost every kitchen table in America. You grind it, you shake it, you trust it. But what if that innocent black speck is hiding something dangerous? From heavy metals to insect fragments and salmonella outbreaks, some pepper brands have betrayed your health. Today, we expose 9 pepper brands seniors must avoid and 2 that are actually safe. Coming in, at number 9, McCormick Ground Black Pepper. McCormick is the name you grew up with. It sat in your mother's kitchen, next to the flour and sugar, always within arm's reach. It sits in yours now. The red cap, the familiar label, the weight of the jar in your hand, it all screams trust. You have been shaking McCormick pepper onto your eggs, your steaks, your soups for decades. But here is what McCormick does not advertise on that comforting package. In recent years, independent lab testing has revealed troubling levels of heavy metals in some McCormick pepper products. We are talking about lead and cadmium, 2 substances that have no business being anywhere near your food. These are not exotic chemicals. These are toxins that accumulate in your body over time, building up in your bones, your organs, your brain. For seniors, this is not a minor inconvenience. Lead does not flush out easily. Once it enters your system, it stays. And for anyone managing high blood pressure, kidney function, or taking heart medications, even trace amounts of lead can interfere with treatment and accelerate organ damage. The FDA allows certain acceptable levels of heavy metals in spices. But here's the question no one wants to answer. Acceptable for whom? A healthy 30-year-old with fully functioning kidneys and no medication interactions? Or a 68-year-old on blood thinners with compromised kidney function and 3 prescriptions that stress the liver? The regulatory standards were not designed with you in mind. McCormick promises pure ground pepper on the label. The word pure is right there in black and white. But purity should mean zero contamination, not contamination within legal limits. The betrayal is quiet. The pepper smells fine, that familiar sharp aroma filling your kitchen. It tastes fine, that warm bite on your tongue. But every shake could be adding invisible toxins to your system, meal after meal, year after year. Consumer Reports conducted testing in 2021 and found that 31% of spice products, including pepper, contained enough heavy metals to pose health concerns with regular use. That is nearly 1 in 3 products on grocery store shelves. McCormick products appeared in that data. The brand you trusted for decades, the one your mother trusted, may be slowly undermining your health without you ever knowing it. And here is what makes it worse. Seniors use more pepper. You season more. You cook more from scratch. You are not grabbing fast food every night like the younger generation. You are making real meals from real ingredients in your own kitchen. That means more exposure, more accumulation, more risk with every home-cooked dinner. The texture looks normal when you examine the grind in your palm. The consistency is what you expect, but what you cannot see is what should concern you most. Heavy metals do not announce themselves. They do not change the flavor. They do not alter the color. They just build up, silently, invisibly, meal after meal, until the damage becomes undeniable. Most people have no idea that this is even a concern. They trust the brand. They trust the red cap. But stick around, because at the end of this video, we will show you exactly which brands have passed independent safety testing and which ones you can actually trust with your health. At number 8, we have Simply Organic Black Pepper. Simply Organic. The name alone sounds like a promise. Organic. Simple, clean, safe. You see that green label, and you think you are making the healthy choice. The packaging shows leaves and nature imagery. Everything about it suggests purity and wholesomeness. But the reality behind that green label is far more complicated than the marketing suggests. First, let us talk about what organic actually means when it comes to spices. Organic certification focuses primarily on how the pepper was grown. No synthetic pesticides, no chemical fertilizers, no genetically modified organisms. That sounds great. It sounds reassuring. But here is what organic certification does not guarantee. Freedom from contamination during processing, storage, and shipping. The organic seal tells you nothing about what happened to that pepper after it left the farm. Simply, organic pepper has faced scrutiny for potential mycotoxin contamination. Mycotoxins are toxic compounds produced by mold. They develop when spices are stored in humid conditions or transported improperly across oceans in shipping containers that can reach sweltering temperatures. The mold grows invisibly, producing toxins that persist even after the mold itself is gone. And here is the danger for seniors. Mycotoxins are linked to liver damage and immune suppression. If you are already managing a chronic condition, if your immune system is not what it used to be, mycotoxin exposure is the last thing your body needs. The pepper in that jar may have been grown organically in India or Vietnam, on a small farm following all the right practices. But what happened between the farm and your kitchen? How was it stored in the warehouse? How long did it sit in a shipping container crossing the Pacific Ocean? Did the temperature spike? Did humidity levels rise? These are questions Simply Organic cannot always answer, and their organic certification does not address any of them. Independent testing has also flagged some Simply Organic products for elevated pesticide residues despite the organic label. How is that possible? Cross-contamination during processing. Shared equipment that also handles conventional products. Improperly cleaned facilities where organic and non-organic spices pass through the same machines. The organic promise gets broken somewhere between the field and the factory, and you never know about it. For seniors watching sodium intake, monitoring blood pressure, and trying to season food naturally without salt, pepper becomes essential. You rely on it to make heart-healthy meals taste good. You trust it, and that trust is being exploited by labels that sound clean but hide dirty secrets. The jar looks premium. The price is premium, often $2 or $3 more than conventional alternatives. But the safety? That is where the cracks appear. Retention trigger. Most people never learn which organic brands actually test for contamination after the growing phase, but we will break it down at the end of the video. Now, at number 7, Badia ground black pepper. Badia is everywhere. Walk into any dollar store, any discount grocer, any big box retailer, and there it is. The bright packaging catches your eye. The price makes you pause. For seniors on a fixed income, stretching Social Security checks and pension payments, Badia seems like a smart choice. Same pepper, lower price, same flavor, less money out of your pocket. What could possibly go wrong? Plenty. Badia has been flagged multiple times by the FDA for contamination issues. We are talking about salmonella, a bacteria that causes severe food poisoning. For a healthy adult in their 20s or 30s, salmonella means a few miserable days. Stomach cramps, diarrhea, fever, dehydration. Unpleasant, but survivable. For a senior, especially one with a weakened immune system or underlying health conditions, salmonella can mean hospitalization. It can mean kidney failure. It can mean sepsis. It can mean worse outcomes that no one wants to discuss. In 2019, Badia issued a recall for ground black pepper due to potential salmonella contamination. The recall was quiet. It did not make the evening news. It did not trend on social media. Most consumers never heard about it. But the pepper was pulled from shelves because it posed a genuine health risk to anyone who consumed it. The bacteria was in the product. The danger was real. Here is the betrayal. Badia markets itself as bringing authentic Latin flavor to your kitchen. The packaging features bright colors and bold fonts and promises of quality. They position themselves as your gateway to delicious home cooking. But quality control failures tell a different story. When bacteria is found in your product, it means something went wrong in the supply chain. It means corners were cut somewhere. It means your health was not the priority. Profit margins were. The texture of contaminated pepper looks identical to clean pepper. Hold them side by side and you cannot tell the difference. The smell is the same, that familiar peppery aroma. You cannot detect salmonella by taste or appearance. There is no warning sign. You only find out when you are sick, hunched over the toilet or lying in a hospital bed, and by then, the damage is done. Here is a statistic that should concern every senior watching this. According to the CDC, adults over 65 are 12 times more likely to be hospitalized from salmonella than younger adults. That is not a scare tactic. That is federal health data. Your age puts you at dramatically higher risk, and Badia put contaminated product on the exact shelves where seniors shop, specifically because the prices are lower and fixed-income customers are more price-sensitive. The savings are not worth the risk. That $2 jar sitting in your pantry could cost you a hospital stay, medical bills, weeks of recovery, or permanent damage to organs already stressed by age. Ever noticed how these brands keep having recalls, yet their products are still on every shelf the very next week like nothing happened? Drop your thoughts below. Number 6 on our list. Great Value. Black pepper. Great Value is Walmart's store brand. You know the packaging. Simple white label, bold blue letters, that distinctive Walmart aesthetic. It is cheap, it is convenient, it is available at nearly every Walmart in America. And for millions of Americans, it is the default choice. When you are filling your cart and you see Great Value next to a name brand at half the price, the decision seems obvious. But default does not mean safe. Great Value spices, including black pepper, have been tested by independent labs and found to contain concerning levels of heavy metals. Lead and arsenic have both appeared in test results at levels that alarmed researchers. For seniors, this is not abstract chemistry happening in a distant laboratory. This is a direct threat to your daily health sitting right there in your spice cabinet. Let me break down what these metals do to an aging body. Arsenic is a known carcinogen. Long-term exposure, even at low levels that technically fall within legal limits, has been linked to increased cancer risk, cardiovascular damage, and neurological problems. Lead affects cognitive function, blood pressure regulation, and kidney health. If you are already managing any of these conditions, if you are taking medications for blood pressure or kidney support, every exposure adds to your burden. Every shake of that pepper grinder compounds the problem. Here is how the system works. Walmart sources great value products from various suppliers around the world, constantly shifting to whoever offers the lowest cost. That means quality control is inherently inconsistent. One batch might be perfectly fine, sourced from a reputable supplier with rigorous testing. The next batch might come from a completely different supplier with different standards, different facilities, different oversight. You are playing roulette with your health every single time you refill that pepper grinder. The betrayal here is economic and deeply calculated. Walmart knows their customer base includes millions of seniors living on Social Security, carefully stretching every dollar to cover groceries and medications and utilities. They position great value as the smart choice for budget-conscious shoppers. Save money, live better, that is the slogan. But they are selling you spices contaminated with heavy metals at a discount and calling it value. The savings are real. The contamination is real too. The pepper looks normal when you shake it into your palm. It grinds normally in your mill. It tastes like pepper should taste, that familiar warmth and bite. But the heavy metals inside are accumulating in your bones, your kidneys, your brain, building up silently over months and years, and you will never see it coming until the damage manifests as a diagnosis. According to that same 2021 Consumer Reports investigation, 31% of tested spice products had heavy metal levels high enough to pose health risks with regular use. Great value products were part of that sample. The math is devastatingly simple. If you use pepper daily with your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, you are exposed daily. And daily exposure to lead and arsenic is not safe at any age, but especially not after 60 when your body's ability to process and eliminate toxins has declined. Moving to number 5. Tone's Ground Black Pepper. Tone's is a brand you see in warehouse stores like Costco and Sam's Club. Those big containers, bulk pricing, family-sized value. The economics seem unbeatable. Why buy a small jar when you can get a massive container for just a few dollars more? For seniors who cook frequently or who buy for extended family gatherings, Tone's seems like the practical choice. Smart shopping, wise budgeting. But practical and safe are not the same thing. Tone's has faced criticism for inconsistent quality and potential contamination issues over the years. Independent testing has revealed that some Tone's spice products contain higher than expected levels of fillers and adulterants. What does that mean in plain language? It means the pepper in that oversized container might not be pure pepper. It might be pepper mixed with cheaper substances designed to increase volume and cut costs. Adulteration in the spice industry is a documented and widespread problem that rarely gets public attention. To cut costs and boost profit margins, some suppliers mix black pepper with cheaper substances that look similar when ground. Papaya seeds, which have a similar appearance when dried and ground. Buckwheat husks, which add bulk without adding cost. Even ground date pits, processed to mimic pepper's texture. These adulterants look like pepper. They feel like pepper when you grind them between your fingers, but they are not pepper, and they come with their own risks that no one warned you about. For seniors with food allergies or sensitivities, undisclosed ingredients are genuinely dangerous. Buckwheat, for example, is a common allergen that can trigger serious reactions. If you have a sensitivity and you consume adulterated pepper without knowing it, you could experience symptoms ranging from digestive distress to full anaphylaxis. And you would never suspect the pepper shaker sitting innocently on your dinner table. Tone's promises quality and value right there on their oversized containers. The branding suggests bulk savings without compromise. But quality means knowing exactly what is in your food. Quality means purity and transparency. When independent labs find fillers in your pepper, when what you are eating is not actually what the label claims, that promise is fundamentally broken. The texture might seem slightly off if you pay very close attention. Less uniform, less consistent, maybe slightly different in color from pure pepper. But most people do not examine their pepper that closely. They shake it, they grind it, they trust the label. That trust is misplaced. Stick around. The solution for finding genuinely pure pepper is coming at the end of this video. Most people never learn how to verify what is actually in their spices, but you will. If this information helps you stay safer at the grocery store, hit that subscribe button. It is completely free, and it means you will never miss these investigative exposés. Updates. We reveal what brands do not want you to know every single week. At number 4, Morton & Bassett. Ground black pepper. Morton & Bassett markets itself as a premium spice brand for discerning cooks. The glass jars look elegant on your spice rack. The labels emphasize quality and freshness and artisanal sourcing. You pay more, significantly more, so you expect significantly more in return. But premium pricing does not guarantee premium safety. Expensive does not mean safe. Morton & Bassett pepper has been flagged in independent testing for elevated levels of ochratoxin a micotoxin produced by certain molds that grow on improperly stored agricultural products. Ochratoxin A is not some obscure concern. It is classified as a possible human carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. It has been linked to kidney damage, immune system suppression, and developmental problems. For seniors already managing kidney function issues, taking medications that stress the kidneys like certain blood pressure drugs or pain relievers, or dealing with compromised immunity from age or chronic illness, ochratoxin exposure is a serious concern. Your kidneys are already working hard to filter medications and process waste. Adding micotoxin stress to that workload can accelerate decline in organ function that you might otherwise have preserved. How does a premium brand end up with micotoxin contamination? The answer lies in sourcing and storage, not in branding and marketing. Pepper is grown primarily in tropical regions with high humidity: Vietnam, India, Indonesia. These humid environments are absolutely perfect for mold growth. If pepper is not dried properly after harvest, stored correctly in climate-controlled conditions, and tested rigorously at multiple points in the supply chain, mycotoxins will develop. Premium branding and fancy glass jars do not prevent biology. Morton & Bassett charges 2 to 3 times what budget brands charge for the same amount of pepper. The implied promise, the unspoken contract with consumers, is that you are buying cleaner, safer, better tested spices. That premium price suggests premium quality control. But when mycotoxins show up in independent testing, that premium price starts looking like a premium scam. The pepper smells aromatic when you open the jar. That rich, complex scent fills your kitchen. The glass jar looks sophisticated, sitting on your spice rack next to your other premium ingredients. But sophistication does not protect your kidneys. Testing does. And Morton & Bassett's testing apparently has significant gaps. Why do you think some premium brands charge significantly more but still cut corners on contamination testing? Is it coincidence or calculation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Coming in at number 3. Spice Islands ground black pepper. Spice Islands has been around for decades, longer than most people watching this video have been cooking. It is a heritage brand with a reputation built over generations. The name itself evokes exotic origins, far-flung islands where spices grow wild, careful sourcing by dedicated importers, culinary excellence passed down through time. But heritage does not mean safety, and reputation does not always reflect reality. Spice Islands pepper has appeared in independent heavy metal testing with genuinely concerning results. Lead levels in some samples exceeded what safety advocates and independent toxicologists consider acceptable for daily consumption. And here is the critical problem that most people miss. Pepper is a daily spice. You do not use it once a week at a special dinner. You do not save it for holidays. You use it at breakfast, sprinkling it on your eggs. You use it at lunch, seasoning your soup. You use it at dinner, finishing your meat and vegetables. Every meal, every day, every year for decades. For seniors, lead exposure is cumulative and catastrophic over time. Lead interferes with calcium absorption in your bones, weakening your skeleton when you are already at risk for osteoporosis and fractures. It elevates blood pressure, straining your cardiovascular system. It damages the kidneys, organs already working harder as they age. It impairs cognitive function, contributing to memory problems and confusion. Every system in your body is vulnerable to lead's effects, and every exposure adds to the damage already done by a lifetime of unavoidable environmental exposure. Placement in grocery stores suggests superiority. But what good is sophistication and elegance if the contents are slowly poisoning you? The FDA has standards for lead in spices, regulatory limits that technically define what is legally permissible. But those standards are based on population averages and assumptions about consumption patterns. They were not designed for seniors with accumulated lifetime exposure from leaded gasoline, lead paint, and decades of environmental contamination. They were not designed for people taking multiple medications that compete for the same detoxification pathways. What is acceptable for regulatory purposes may not be acceptable for your particular body and your particular health situation. The texture of Spice Island's pepper is fine when you examine it. The aroma is properly peppery, that familiar sharp scent. Nothing seems wrong when you shake it over your plate. But lead contamination is completely invisible. You cannot taste it. You cannot smell it. You cannot see it. You can only measure it in a laboratory, and most consumers never test what they buy. The betrayal is subtle but profound. A trusted brand, a premium price, and hidden heavy metals in every jar. Your loyalty has been exploited. Number 2 is 365 Whole Foods Market Organic Ground Black Pepper. Whole Foods. The name itself has become synonymous with health, quality, and conscious consumption. When you walk through those doors into the carefully curated environment, past the fresh produce displays and the artisanal cheese counter, you expect better. You pay more, significantly more, because you believe you are getting safer, cleaner, more carefully vetted products. The 365 brand is their store label, Whole Foods' own line of products. Organic, relatively affordable by Whole Food standards, and trusted by millions of health-conscious consumers. But that trust has serious cracks running through it. 365 organic black pepper has been tested by independent labs and found to contain detectable levels of pesticide residues despite its organic certification. Read that again. Organic pepper, with pesticides in it. How does organic pepper contain pesticides? The answers are systemic and troubling. Cross-contamination during processing, where organic and conventional products share the same equipment. Shared facilities with conventional products, where residues persist despite cleaning. Inadequate cleaning protocols between batches, where economics trump thoroughness. The organic label goes on the jar, complete with the USDA seal, but conventional contamination goes into your body. For seniors who choose organic specifically to avoid chemical exposure, who are willing to pay significantly more to protect their aging bodies from additional toxic burden, this is a profound betrayal. You are paying a premium to protect your health. You are making conscious, deliberate choices at the grocery store. You are reading labels and comparing options and selecting what you believe is the safer product. And those choices are being undermined by supply chain failures that Whole Foods either does not know about or does not adequately address. Additionally, some 365 spice products have been flagged for higher than expected moisture content in their containers. Why does moisture matter? Because moisture enables mold growth. Mold produces mycotoxins. Mycotoxins damage livers and kidneys and suppress immune function. A slightly damp jar of pepper, sealed and sitting on a warehouse shelf or in a shipping container, becomes a petri dish for dangerous compounds that you will eventually consume. The Whole Foods shopping experience feels premium in every way. The stores are clean and brightly lit. The staff seems knowledgeable. The displays are artful. The prices certainly suggest quality at every turn. But the 365 pepper in your cart might be carrying contamination that directly contradicts everything the Whole Foods brand represents and promises. The texture may feel slightly softer if moisture is present. Pepper that clumps together rather than flowing freely when you try to shake it. But most consumers do not notice these subtle warning signs until mold actually becomes visible. By then, you have already been consuming a compromised product for weeks or months. You shop at Whole Foods because you care about your health and are willing to invest in it. Whole Foods charges premium prices because they claim to care too. But when independent labs find pesticides in their organic pepper that claim rings hollow, and the #1 brand to avoid, Trader Joe's ground black pepper. Trader Joe's is beloved by millions of Americans. The quirky branding with its Hawaiian shirt aesthetic, the friendly staff wearing those colorful shirts, the affordable prices on products that seem healthier and more interesting than mainstream supermarket alternatives. Seniors flock to Trader Joe's for accessible, seemingly trustworthy groceries at reasonable prices. The treasure hunt atmosphere makes shopping feel almost like entertainment. But when it comes to their black pepper, that trust is seriously misplaced. Trader Joe's ground black pepper has been implicated in multiple contamination concerns over recent years. Independent testing has found elevated heavy metal levels, including lead and cadmium, in some samples pulled from their shelves. FDA inspections of facilities connected to Trader Joe's supply chain have revealed sanitation issues and quality control gaps that could contribute to ongoing contamination problems. Here is what makes Trader Joe's particularly concerning compared to other brands on this list. Their supply chain is deliberately opaque. They source from various suppliers around the world and rebrand products under the Trader Joe's label, hiding the original manufacturer. You have absolutely no way of knowing where your pepper actually came from. Was it sourced from a reputable supplier with rigorous testing and quality control? Or from the lowest bidder with minimal oversight and maximum profit margins? Trader Joe's does not tell you. They do not publish supplier information, and you have no way to find out independently. For seniors, this deliberate opacity is dangerous. You cannot make truly informed decisions about what you consume if the brand actively hides where products originate. You trust the Trader Joe's name because of their marketing and atmosphere, but that name is just a label slapped on mystery-sourced spices from unknown facilities in unknown countries. Lead contamination in Trader Joe's pepper is particularly troubling given their customer base. Trader Joe's attracts health-conscious shoppers, people who read labels carefully, who try to make better choices, who believe they are shopping at a more ethical alternative to conventional supermarkets. These customers deserve better than hidden heavy metals in their daily seasonings. The pepper looks absolutely fine when you examine it. It smells peppery, that familiar aroma you expect. The grind is consistent. Everything about the appearance suggests quality, but consistency of appearance does not mean consistency of safety. Every batch from every unknown supplier is different, and Trader Joe's quality control clearly has significant gaps that allow contaminated product to reach consumers. Here is a statistic that should frighten every senior watching this. According to the CDC, even low-level lead exposure in older adults is associated with accelerated cognitive decline, memory problems, confusion, difficulty concentrating. You grind Trader Joe's pepper over your eggs every morning, and with every twist of the grinder, you might be adding lead to your breakfast. The cumulative effect over months and years of daily use could contribute to cognitive decline that you attribute to normal aging, but is actually slow poisoning. The betrayal here cuts especially deep. Trader Joe's built their entire brand on being different, better than conventional grocery stores, more honest than big corporations, more transparent and trustworthy than mainstream retailers. But when independent labs find lead in their pepper and their supply chain remains a deliberately hidden black box, they are just another brand putting profits over people dressed up in Hawaiian shirts. Do you think the government really protects consumers, or does it protect the food industry? When stores like Trader Joe's can sell contaminated products without consequence or public accountability, the answer becomes clear. Share your thoughts in the comments below. The first safe option, Penzeys Spices Black Pepper. Now that we have exposed the dangers hiding in your spice cabinet, let me show you what actually works. Penzeys Spices has built their reputation on something increasingly rare in the food industry: transparency, rigorous quality testing, and direct sourcing relationships. Unlike the mass-market brands that prioritize cost savings over consumer safety, Penzeys actively tests for heavy metals, pesticides, and microbial contamination. Their pepper consistently passes independent lab analysis with excellent results. For seniors genuinely concerned about lead, cadmium, and micotoxins, Penzeys offers something precious: genuine peace of mind. They source from specific farms with documented and verifiable growing practices. They maintain strict storage protocols specifically designed to prevent mold growth during the supply chain journey. They publish information about their quality standards that other brands deliberately hide from consumers. The texture is noticeably superior when you actually use the product. Freshly ground Penzeys pepper has a brightness and complexity of aroma that contaminated or adulterated pepper simply cannot match. When spices are stored properly and sourced carefully, you can genuinely taste the difference. That clean, sharp, vibrant, peppery bite is what pure pepper actually should taste like. Penzeys is not available in every grocery store. You may need to order online from their website or visit one of their retail locations if you are lucky enough to live near one. But that minor inconvenience is absolutely worth the assurance that you are not slowly poisoning yourself with every home-cooked meal. For seniors managing blood pressure, kidney function, or heart conditions, eliminating heavy metal exposure from daily spices is a meaningful and practical step toward protecting your health for years to come. Penzeys makes that protection accessible. The second safe option, Burlap and Barrel Black Pepper. Burlap and Barrel is a single-origin spice company that takes a fundamentally different approach to the spice business. They source directly from farmers around the world, building long-term relationships rather than chasing the lowest price from anonymous suppliers. Their black pepper comes from specific documented regions with verified growing conditions, and every single batch is tested for contaminants before it is ever offered for sale to consumers. What sets Burlap and Barrel apart from every other brand we have discussed is complete traceability. You can know exactly where your pepper came from, which specific farm in which specific region. which harvest season, which processing facility handled it. That level of transparency is extraordinarily rare in the global spice industry, and it matters enormously for safety. Their pepper is verified free from heavy metals at concerning levels. It is free from pesticide residues that plague even organic products. It is properly dried and stored to prevent mycotoxin development throughout the supply chain. For seniors who have spent years or decades consuming contaminated spices without ever knowing it, switching to burlap and barrel represents a genuine fresh start. The flavor is genuinely exceptional, noticeably different from what you have been using. Single-origin pepper has complexity and depth and character that blended, mass-produced pepper from mystery sources simply cannot match. You will actually use less because the flavor is significantly more potent, which means each jar lasts longer and provides more value despite the higher initial price point. Burlap and barrel represents what the entire spice industry should be but rarely is: transparent about sources, rigorously tested at every stage, genuinely trustworthy with nothing to hide. For seniors who have been betrayed by brands that promised quality and delivered contamination instead, this is the correction you deserve. Your spice cabinet should not be a source of hidden danger threatening your health with every meal. The brands you trusted for years, maybe decades, have let you down. Heavy metals, bacteria, mycotoxins, all hiding in plain sight in that innocent-looking pepper shaker. But now you know the truth. Now you know which pepper is actually safe. Subscribe now, and if you are watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.